Hello, and welcome to the Cosmos video channel. We are an online store specializing in cosplay costumes. You are now listening to our original novel, The Extraordinary Werewolf. If you have any interest in cosplay outfits, you can contact us at cosmos.com. Now, let's begin the story. Previously, on The Extraordinary Werewolf, Glenn returned to the forest to find his first two victims completely devoured. He was then attacked by a monstrous, one-eyed black beast. During the life-or-death struggle, Glenn underwent a spontaneous monstrous transformation, realizing with shock that he had become a werewolf himself. I am actually a werewolf. Wait, no, the original owner wasn't a werewolf. This must be because I was bitten by that werewolf yesterday. So, I've been infected with lycanthropy? Glenn quickly organized his thoughts, realizing the truth. He let out a wry smile, thinking, I wonder if this is a blessing or a curse. Glenn knew from the original Dylan's memories that races like werewolves, vampires, and demons were universally ostracized by the various kingdoms. They were collectively referred to as evil creatures and were hunted by organizations like the Knight Templars and the Mage Guilds. The danger was immense. Oh well, I'll take it one step at a time. It is not a big deal, not a big deal. Glenn secretly tried to reassure himself. He then focused back on the beast under his paw. Any other werewolf seeing this scene would be utterly astonished, because ordinary werewolves lose nearly all rationality upon transformation, becoming slaves to the instinct for slaughter. Even the most talented werewolves can only maintain small fragments of reason after significant training. Someone like Glenn, who was fully rational during his very first transformation, was simply unheard of. This was due to his past life experiences, which had slowly forged a far greater, even exaggerated level of willpower and self-control than an ordinary person. Although the craving for blood never stopped assaulting his sanity, he could fully endure it. Of course, this world certainly wasn't lacking in people with exceptional willpower, but they hadn't appeared within the ranks of werewolves. In this world, werewolves and vampires were relatively rare races, mainly because they were hunted so aggressively. Even though the remaining werewolves had begun to gather, they still didn't compare to the great powers. The beast under him was completely subdued, utterly paralyzed by Glenn's single-handed suppression. It was as obedient as a large dog. Glenn raised his sharp claws, intending to finish it off, but hesitated at the last moment. It wasn't mercy, he was weighing the pros and cons. A certain feeling told him he could completely control this beast. It was as if his bloodline was instructing him. Is this a werewolf talent, or a talent of this beast? Killing the beast offers no loss and no gain, but if I subdue it, perhaps it can serve as cannon fodder. Glenn quickly made his decision. He released the beast. Simultaneously, Glenn established some kind of connection with the creature, allowing him to issue clear commands. How miraculous! Glenn meant to whisper a quiet expression of wonder, but what came out was a deep, guttural roar. I can't talk. He touched his throat, slightly controlling the internal changes caused by the lycanthropy, and swallowed a few times. Then, a demonic, low voice spoke. It is done.
It is done.
The beast groveled at the feet of the werewolf Glenn. It dared not move without its master's command, behaving like a dog. Glenn closed his eyes, sensing his entire body. He found that upon wolf transformation, the lycanthropic energy emitted a certain power that stimulated physical changes and spread to fill more of his blood vessels. When untransformed, the energy was scattered throughout his veins. Once transformed, it became more active and spread further. He realized he could control this energy at will. He even felt that if he wanted to, he could expel all the lycanthropy from his body at any time.
Do all werewolves have this ability, or is it just me?
He couldn't help but wonder. Since the lycanthropy changes the body through this expansion, what would happen if I filled all my blood vessels with it? Glenn wondered out of curiosity. After long hesitation, he decided to try it. Following his mental command, all the lycanthropy in his body became hyperactive, surging towards the undeveloped blood vessels. Suddenly, The beast crouching on the ground seemed to sense something. Its body trembled involuntarily, burying its head deep into the earth. As the lycanthropy expanded, Glenn's body changed again. His form continuously grew taller. His muscles simultaneously swelled and became knotted. His fangs and claws radiated a tangible black energy. A violent aura swept through the area. More savage, bloodthirsty emotions assailed his sanity, but Glenn remained in control. His field of vision climbed higher and higher. All 5 of his senses became acutely sharp. He felt that he could now clearly track the movements of a mosquito 100 meters away. Finally, the power surged to the limit of what Glenn's willpower could bear. Yet the lycanthropy had still not filled even half of his total blood vessels. He now stood 6 meters tall, shrouded in a black aura that instilled primal fear in living things. His strength was immeasurable, making the beast at his feet seem like less than a house cat. His very breath was scorching hot, like a demon descending upon the world. Glenn casually swung a couple of punches, and the resulting wind broke several nearby trees. This wasn't achieved by brute force alone. He could feel that the punches were somehow drawing in the surrounding air to generate such tremendous power. He sensed that his body was consuming a massive amount of energy in this state. The hunger pangs were subtly returning, so he controlled the lycanthropy to return to his human form. Reverting to a man, Glenn was stark naked and intensely hungry.
This transformation is powerful, but it is hell on the clothes.
Glenn looked down at his naked body, his lips drooping.
Go find some food.
Go find some food, Glenn commanded the trembling beast, which still had its head buried in the dirt. The beast shuddered at the command and then scampered into the dense forest. My body has gotten much stronger again. Glenn noticed that his current human strength was almost comparable to the strength he had immediately after transforming. This surprised him. That recent experiment must have caused some kind of lasting change to my body. Is this why the werewolf physique is superior to a normal human's? He practiced a set of martial arts movements, further confirming his guess. Sitting naked on the ground covered in dry leaves, Glenn noticed a slight movement nearby. He turned and saw a one-eyed mouse gnawing on the scraps of meat. He smelled a similarity between this mouse's scent and that of the beast he had just subdued. A theory formed in his mind. That large beast was very likely one of these mice, infected by lycanthropy and mutated. Moments earlier, just as Glenn reached his peak power, the eyelids of a figure sleeping on a dusty soft bed in a 3-story medieval brick house in the center of Bayek town twitched slightly, as if about to open. But in the end, they remained still. The beast returned several hours later, dragging a wild boar in its mouth. Glenn, who was nearly driven mad by the weight, unceremoniously snatched the prey and found a new spot to build a fire and roast the meat. While his current physique allowed him to eat raw meat, he refused to revert to a savage lifestyle. Soon the aroma of roasting meat filled the forest. The beast watching nearby drooled like a waterfall, its nose constantly twitching, clearly famished. But Glenn wouldn't feed it yet. He was desperately hungry himself. He would only consider others after he was full. In a wolf pack, the higher-ranking wolf always eats first, and the beast, affected by this instinct, dared not overstep, especially after witnessing Glenn's true power. Glenn ate one entire leg of the wild boar and was mostly satisfied. His stomach couldn't hold much more. He could eat more if he transformed, but it wasn't necessary. His human form consumed less energy, so transforming just to eat would be a waste of power. He only gave the beast one hind leg of the remaining boar carcass, instructing it to hunt for itself if it wanted more. After the beast finished eating, Glenn commanded it to retrieve a set of clothes from his house. He could clearly convey the concept of clothes into the beast's mind. The convenience of their connection was obvious. After storing his remaining loot at home, Glenn set out of town again, intending to use his remaining savings to buy some vegetables and flour. I should buy a carriage when I have more money, Glenn planned as he walked down the road. Would you like to hear the next chapter, or would you like to know more about the mysterious energy inside Glenn's body?